everybody, my name is Aviva and I'm a violinist from Chicago. This is my mini class about the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in Suzuki Book 1. So this song is a really popular tune and you probably already knew it in your mind, which actually helps to learn the song. So what I like to do is I like to look at all of the notes in the song and figure out how many there are. In this song, we have the notes A, B, C, C sharp that is, D, E, and F sharp. So we have a total of 6 notes. And what I like to do is I like to play them all in a row like I just showed you, not the way that they actually appear in the song. So we have the notes all stacked in a row. And it sort of helps me to set up my hand. I especially like to feel where the fingers are touching. So here we have a C sharp, second finger, and a D. And if the fingers are touching, that's called a half step. And if they're sort of spread apart, and mine are about an inch apart, that's called a whole step. And it's really important to feel the half steps, to actually feel your fingers touching. So again, the pattern goes. And you can do that backwards, which I like to do too. And this is a good pattern to actually warm up before playing the song. Now the next thing I would notice is that we have a rhythm of quarter notes and half notes in this song. So quarter notes get just 1 beat and half notes get 2 beats. So usually if a note lasts for a longer period of time, if it has more beats, then you have to move your bow slower, or you have to use more bow in order to fit all of those beats. So for example, in the beginning of the song, you hear this. Here is our first half note. And you might notice that I actually move my bow a little slower, and I use a lot because you have to fit 2 counts onto that note. So in my head, I actually count while I play. I count in 4 because there are 4 beats in every measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that half note has to last for 2 beats. And if you're careful about all of your half notes in the song, then you'll really get the right rhythm. Now if you try to play a song with all the notes correct and all in tune, but with the rhythm a little bit off, it's really not going to sound like the real thing. For example, if I play Twinkle Twinkle, all the right notes, but if I play a different rhythm, it won't really sound like Twinkle Twinkle. Quite register in our mind as what Twinkle Twinkle should sound like. So the rhythm is really important, and you want to watch out for those half notes and make sure that they last for 2 beats. Now, I also went through all of the variations that the Suzuki Book gives us. We have 4 variations, and it's really fun to be able to practice this song in different rhythms. So the first variation goes 4 16th notes and 2 8th notes, and that pattern repeats. And if you step away from the music a little bit, you'll be able to visually see that there are still 4 beats in every measure, and it sort of looks like that rhythm is grouped into 4. You have 4 16th notes, 2 eighths, 4 16th notes, 2 eighths. So 4 16th notes equals 1 beat, and 2 8th notes also equals 1 beat. Now, it's actually really helpful to put words to a rhythm. So for this one, I made up the words Twinkle Twinkle Bright Star. So that helps me to play a really steady rhythm. Sometimes I start out saying it out loud first. Twinkle Twinkle Bright Star. Twinkle Twinkle Bright Star. And then I transition, once I really got that rhythm down, to just say it sort of in my mind. Twinkle, twinkle, bright star. eventually those words help you to kind of feel the groove of the rhythm, and you're able to do it without having to say the words out loud. So putting words to a rhythm is really helpful, and you can actually make up your own. Now, the second variation was a very neat rhythm that's eighth notes, but it also has a little eighth rest in it. So 2 eighth notes are equal to 1 beat. And then we have a little rest, so there's a little pause. And the next eighth note comes on an up bow, and it sort of feels like you're leaping into the next beat. So it goes like this. Now, the second variation is eighth note. Now, the second variation is eighth notes, and also it has an eighth rest. So it sounds like this. And it almost feels like there's that little rest, and then the next note sort of leaps into the next beat. So it's like you're kind of on a springboard and you're leaping into the next part. Jump, jump, jump. Now you have to remember that little jumping eighth note is always on an up bow. So I would practice this really slowly, and I would count to myself 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So these little jumping up bow eighth notes always come on the and. If you want to count a measure of eighth notes, then you count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So the first beat's 1 and 2, and then that little eighth note is on an and. That's what's called the syncopation. It feels sort of like it's a little on and off beat. It really makes you want to move your shoulders. So it goes and. So that's a good rhythm to practice really slowly until you can feel that jumping and beat. The third variation is a rhythm of eighth notes plus 16th notes. So we have 8th, 16th, 8th, 16th, and that rhythm repeats through the whole thing. 8th, 16th. Now I would suggest coming up with words for this rhythm as well. The words that I thought up of were I like to eat candy, I like to eat candy. Now if there are any young kids out there watching, then you probably agree with me that you like to eat candy. Also, I really like to eat candy. So this is a rhythm that you can use those words to, and it goes I like to eat candy. I like to eat candy. And again, just putting words to a rhythm sort of helps you to feel the pace of it, because it's more natural for us to feel the way that we would speak than it is for us to count 1 and 2 ands and 3 ands. Now, you also probably notice that when you play an 8th note, you need a certain amount of bow, but when you play 16th notes, you actually need a little bit less bow. The shorter a note is, the less bow it gets. So 8th note's a little longer, then the 2 16th notes really don't need a lot of bow. Watch again. You see how I'm kind of doing a bit longer, shorter, longer, shorter. So why don't you guys try that when you practice too? Long note, short, long, short. That applies to our final variation, which is just 16th notes. And again, I recommend sort of stepping back from the music and seeing how there's a set of 4 in each measure, because every measure has 4 beats, and 4 16th notes makes 1 beat. So you've got 4, 4, 4, and 4 16th notes. And these are very short notes. So like I just mentioned, you don't need a lot of bow. So it sounds like this. I must be using probably less than an inch for every note. And I make sure that my arm is really relaxed. If your arm is all tight and tense, then boy are you going to get tired by the end of this variation. So you want to stay nice and loose and relaxed. You want to get your wrist moving in there a little, and even your fingers maybe. You don't need to do all the hard work with your arm. This is too much work, right? So you relax and you use your wrist. And just an inch of bow. The other thing that I like to do when there's a lot of little notes, 16th notes, is to tap my foot. So I'm actually, you probably can't see it in the camera at the moment, but I am tapping along with playing the 16th notes. So you want to tap not all the 16th notes, because again, you'll get very tired by the end. You want to tap the big beats. The big beats for me are the quarter beats. So it goes 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So I'm just tapping on the quarter beat. The words that I like to put to this rhythm is just chugga chugga. That's what I usually use for 16th notes. So chugga 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 chugga. And you might find yourself kind of keeping the rhythm with your violin. Try to keep your violin nice and stable. If your violin is moving around a lot, then it's a little bit harder to get a nice clear sound. So try and make your violin nice and straight, but your foot is tapping the big beats, and you might be thinking chugga chugga in your mind at the same time. So it goes like this. Chugga 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 chugga. So that's how I keep a really steady rhythm. I hope you enjoyed today's class, and I hope you learned some things that will help you to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. If you enjoyed the video, please click the subscribe button. See you guys next time.